You're listening to the best of the Ray Powers Hour.
This is the Ray Powers Hour, and I'm on the line with Chuck West and Roddy Blakely. Together, they make up Time's Up Music out of Washington, D.C. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
It's a privilege and an honor. Now, you guys are based out of the Washington, D.C. area, as I just mentioned, and that's where you guys were born, raised, and still live, correct?
Yeah, we both were born and raised in D.C.
Very cool. Now, I understand that you've been making music since the 1970s, and you've developed a sound that you guys call the Beltway Groove. Can you tell us about the Beltway Groove, and tell us what inspired the drive to create that?
Well, the Beltway Groove was, we had, when we first put the EP out, they didn't know how to categorize, was it jazz or was it funk or was it another kind of music, but we came up with the Beltway Groove because since we live in D.C., we go around the Beltway from 495 to 295 to 95 north-south. And since we've been traveling that route, you know, we just figured, since they call it the DMV route with the D.C., Maryland, Virginia, so we called it the Beltway Groove, because if you cruise around the Beltway, you put the CD in and you just groove to it.
Right.
And that's how we came up with it.
All right, well, that makes sense. I actually didn't make that connection with DMV, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. But, yeah, obviously, you know, you guys live down there, so it's something that you refer to. And, you know, I think I've heard it once or twice, but I guess I just didn't make the connection. So you learn something every day. Cool.
And also, we were trying to get a different sound because basically the D.C. area, everything here is like go-go. So we trying to give D.C. a different flavor of music, because everything here is based on go-go and grown and sexy, which is a lot of groups playing cover songs. So we came out with a different type of groove for the area.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, if you can have your own sound, or you can develop your own sound and not sound just like everybody else doing the circuit, it's going to be more refreshing. You're going to stand out, of course. And yeah, that's awesome. Now, when you guys come up with an idea for a new song, how does that develop, and who does what? Does one of you come with, you know, a hook? Somebody has a vocal melody? Do you come up with lyrics first, music, or does it just vary from case to case?
It really varies. In fact, a few days ago, Robbie came up to my house with some material and said, "Here, check this out." And I've been working with that on something that he created. So there are often times that we do stuff together, separate, put it together. It comes from different ways. It really does.
And sometimes we'll play live, and I'll listen to a couple of beats that Chuck will play, and then I'll just add music to it. And then later we'll sit back and listen to it, and then we'll shape it. Then it depends how we feel. You know, if we revert back to a moment in time if something happened to us, we'll probably put some lyrics to it. A lot of the lyrics that we put to the songs are things that happened to us, you know, growing up. And everything we write is happened to us when we grow up. It's all about our life and some of the things we experience.
Right. And since you've been doing this together since the 70s, I mean, you had to have evolved quite a bit, and I'm sure that the songwriting reflects that and has completely matured over the years. And I can only imagine the range that, 35 plus years or more, really, the range that you've developed. And I mean, I can only imagine if you go back and listen to, like, say, those early demos, maybe on, like, tape recorders. Do you listen back and say, like, wow, look how far we've come?
Yeah, it's true. And the route and the method we used back then, was a little tedious. compared to, of course, the digital age now, of course, the cut and paste and all that.
Yeah.
But we're still fans of the analog world because of the warmth and saturation that it gives to our music. And we often did record on 2-inch tape, even in the early days.
Right.
Yes, and before when we first started, we were putting too much music in our stuff, and since, like you said, the music evolved, and we just cut back and started making stuff a little more plain and simpler, because we were like overdressing. It's like when you overdress a car, you put too much stuff on it, and it takes away from it.
Yeah.
So we listened to some of our songs, and we took a lot of stuff out of it and just made it just basic, but still kept the dynamics in it.
Right, playing for the song. And yeah, I can remember doing demos on my Panasonic Slimline cassette recorder, and then tracking on 2-inch analog tape, which to me, I'm a tape head myself. I just love the way that warmth just delivers the music. And when you delivered it straight to vinyl, there was just nothing like it. And, of course, it is 2016, and we have to adapt with the times, but, it really does lend a lot of convenience today with cut and paste and undo. If you make a mistake, you have an undo button.
No question.
Which, of course, bringing us to 2016, you guys just released your EP, Better Than Yesterday, in January, so it's brand new, and I'll be spinning a couple of cuts from that collection. Now, are there any live dates that are coming up to support the new release?
We haven't had nothing planned so far. We have to get with Jill, and she has a few things planned for us, but we're planning on doing some things this spring. We're trying to get up to Walter Reed, do a little free concert up there. We have a few dates we have open, but we haven't talked to Jill or anybody about it yet.
Right. Well, I'd like to play Miss Muffet, which Jill was good enough to send me. Tell us about that one, how that became a cut and what led to the creation of it, and how it came to be what it is today, Miss Muffet.
Well, when I first met Chuck, he had some original. Miss Muffet came from a cut that Chuck let me hear a long time when we first hooked up. And he brought it to work one day, and he let me listen to it. And that's when we first hooked up, and we decided, okay, we got together and practiced, and we did some dissecting. We took bits and pieces out of the original he had, and we added some other things to it, and it came up to be Miss Muffet. And we put some lyrics to it, and away we went. That was our first original.
Wow, so there's a lot of history behind that song.
Oh, yeah. A lot.
Yeah, all things considered, that's pretty much the springboard for, music to come for decades after that. And to think it comes to fruition now, that's pretty amazing. That's a great story.
Yeah. It has a lot of anger put behind it too, because it was a song that we really joked about it, because we went through a little rough patch, and we just made a nursery rhyme about some things that we went through, and then we just laughed about it, and that's how it ended up being Miss Muffet. Instead of getting real angry and using different kind of vocabulary to explain some people that we had disagreements with, we just made a nursery rhyme about it.
Well, that's awesome. That's a great setup. We got people in suspense now, so I'd like to play this for them. This is Time's Up Music with Miss Muffet on the Ray Powers Hour. This is the Ray Powers Hour. I am on the line with Chuck and Roddy, collectively Time's Up Music out of Washington, D.C. And that cut we just played, that was Miss Muffet. And we touched on it a little bit before, but you're partnered with Heart Songs for Veterans, and realizing that both of you have served in the Army, and I didn't, but I thank you more than you know for your services. To me, that seems like Heart Songs would be naturally, an ideal fit, and you can identify with the cause. How did you come to hook up with Heart Songs?
Well, we actually hooked up with Jill Pavel, who's very active, and this is actually her baby. And it was a very interesting endeavor, we thought. And she really liked some of the music that we were doing. And so we started to correspond, and we went back and forth, and fast forward, and here we are. Because we do have the same passion about the veterans, because we were veterans, we understand how they're coming home, and it's very rough. We live here in D.C., and we really see the hardships that they really go through. So,
sure.
And it's a passion for Roddy and myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, I've always tried to give, even if it was just the gift of time. I've been to Lions Hospital in New Jersey, the PTSD ward. And, anything we could do to help out, volunteer, collect funds. We've raised money for wounded warriors, things like that. We just, anything to be involved, because it does hit home for everybody, And of course, your status as veterans, firsthand, but, someone like me, this is how I could go out and support. So I really got behind Heart Songs. I think everybody should. And I want to see this do really well. Your EP is called Better Than Yesterday. It's been out since January. I'm going to play us out with the title cut. Tell us how we can get this EP.
You can get it on, download it off of iTunes. And if you go to our website, timesupmusic.com, you can get it. You can listen to it there, but you can go to iTunes and pull up our name, Times Up Music, and you can download it there. And we will be having some. What is that Jill said we were getting some kind of cards, Chuck?
Oh yeah, we have some download cards coming out soon that will be handing out around the DMV, and just, putting the music out there for everyone. So that's going to be fun for us, too.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now, the download cards. And the first time someone gave it to me, I'm like, what's this? And, because I'm old school, too. I've had to adapt. But they were like, no, it's just like an iTunes card. You just use the value on it. You just download it. It's free, and boom, you have it. But it's a nice, concise package. You can put it in your pocket, and you can take it with you. So it's cool.
A lot of this stuff is new to me, Chuck. The new age, the music age now is real different than when we first started. So now everything is the download cards and the music technology now. First we had cassette tapes and stuff and boom boxes, and now you have, you got iPad, iPhone, you got the music you listen to with your headphones. Everything is different. And I think it's kind of great for the music now, because it makes the music sound a lot better. You can hear it better.
Sure, and you can share it around the world in seconds. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the good old days. We're living them. Chuck, Roddy, as I mentioned, I'll play the show out with the title cut, Better Than Yesterday. Pick up the 5-song EP. It's Time's Up Music, Better Than Yesterday, iTunes, anywhere you get your digital music, and it's for a great cause. Guys, thank you so much. And, feel free to join the chat room, talk amongst everybody listening. And, I can't wait to see you guys live. If you're up this way or even down like in Philly, I'll come check you guys out. And, I just can't wait. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Chuck West, Roddy Blakely, together, you call them Time's Up Music. We'll be right back.
The Ray Powers Hour.
This is the Ray Powers Hour, and on the line with me from Trinity, North Carolina, 12-year-old phenom, and trust me, that's not an overstatement. It's Landon Wall. How you doing?
Good. How about you, Mr. A?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm just so glad you joined me tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my privilege. My God, I don't even know where to begin. You're 12 years old, and
Yes, sir.
now I've taken piano lessons from the time I was 6. But by the time I was 12, I was not rocking arena stages and outdoor festivals at 12. I probably wish I was, but it took me many, decades to catch up. And you're already on the fast track. How's that working out for you?
Well, I really love it. God's really blessed me. I've had some really amazing opportunities, and it's all from Him.
I agree. I couldn't dispute that at all. Now you're from Trinity, North Carolina,
Yes, sir.
and how far is that from Nashville? Because I know that's a hot commute route for you.
Well, it's about 7 hours, but if there's a lot of traffic, about 8.
Okay, that's not terrible. It would take me probably 16. I'm right outside of New York City. And,
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, that would be a hike. But I love Nashville. I can't wait to go back. But
Yes, sir.
you're 12 years old, and you've already accomplished so much. You've been doing this for a while. And now I know, because I did my research, I know you got a guitar for your, not your 6th birthday, but I guess it was Christmas, right?
Yes, sir. I walked down the stairs, and I told them at the time I didn't know what an acoustic was, and I told them I wanted the guitar with a hole in it, and I don't know. I just went downstairs and I saw it there, and I just picked it up and I tried to play it the best I could. And Dad helped me out, learned a couple of chords. I went to a music store when I was about 7, about a year after I got the guitar, and they told me to come back when I was 9 years old because I wouldn't pay attention.
Oh.
And that just lit a huge fire in me because they wouldn't teach me. So I went home. My dad taught me a couple more chords, enough to play a song I wanted to learn. And then I just really fell in love with it, and I just wanted to keep on doing it as much as I could.
Wow. So now, when did it really click for you that you realized that you wanted to be a Nashville superstar? Because, as I mentioned, you're on that fast track now.
I was doing a TV show at the time, and it was where I got to listen to a lot of country music, and I just fell in love with the genre, and I started doing it a lot more, and then I just really got the bug, and I was hosting a radio show up in Nashville at the time, and I was playing the music, and I just loved coming down to Nashville every 3 weeks to do a show. It was just really awesome.
Yeah, there are worse ways to make a living. That's for sure. But, yeah, you spoke about doing a TV show, so you act as well. I mean...
Sir, a little bit.
Okay, well, if acting is what you're dabbling in, and this is your main thing, I mean, that's something to be said, because, like I said, your music is already... I'm sure it floors a lot of people, and not just because of your age. I mean, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. And, you know, a good song is a good song, and a good performer is a good performer. And you're standing shoulder to shoulder with some heavyweights, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. You've made some serious friends along the way already. Hunter Hayes, Kelsey Ballerini, who later crashed your stage in response to your response. Now, for those of us not following that, why don't you fill us in on that? Exactly what happened with Kelsey Ballerini, because this is a great story.
Well, that morning, I knew I was going to play the Bluebird, and I tweeted her, and I told her I was going to be doing Peter Pan's response, if you don't have any plans, ... And that night, I was playing it, and as soon as I finished Lost Boy, I look up, and there's Kelsey Ballerini walking towards me, and it floored me.
Wow.
It was the first ever time I was ever speechless. I mean, she was amazing, and she sang Peter Pan, and she had the voice of an angel. She was really awesome.
Right, and sharing the stage with someone that beautiful, I'm sure that's not a hardship either. That couldn't have been that tough to deal with. I've seen the company you've been keeping lately, and it's I know Mom and Dad must be thinking, okay. But no, that's fantastic. And now you got to jam on stage with Hunter Hayes at the Carolina Country Music Fest. I just watched the YouTube video for like the 5th time. Just what was that like? I mean, what was that rush?
It was really awesome. We were driving down the road on our way home from Myrtle Beach at the time, and we got a call. So it was an email actually, but it was Hunter Hayes, and he was wondering if I would like to come down there and sing at the Carolina Country Music Festival with him. And I didn't even think twice. I was like, yes! And it was just so cool, that little rush that I felt in the car. And he was so humble, and when I walked up to the bus, I thought, this is what I want to do. And while I'm up there, it was a dream come true, I'll tell you that.
Wow, so you were personally invited. That's amazing. That's fantastic. And yeah, I don't think it would take me another, there would be no hesitation to be like, okay. You tell me where to be and I'll be there. Absolutely. Wow. I mean, that's fantastic. Now, you mentioned that you dabbled in acting as well. But if you call dabbling, being in commercials, on a theater stage, and even TV and film, I mean, that's, there are actors out there, waiting tables for 20, 30 years to get shots like that. That's pretty cool that you can use that as a fallback, so to speak. That's pretty amazing. Do you find acting as fulfilling as performing on stage?
Well, the way I figured out my love for is from acting. I was doing musical theater, and I just got the bug, and I kept on doing it, and then I found that I'm really a fan of the singing part of it.
Right.
So I started doing a little bit more of that, and I was Charlie Bates and Oliver, and I was Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. So they were really cool. I really just love acting too, but primarily I love doing music.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. I agree. I like acting in the occasional video, or if somebody offered me a commercial or something, I guess I would take it, certainly. But, I really couldn't see doing anything else other than, the radio side of this, of course. But if somebody else handed you another job and said, I can guarantee you $1 million a year doing this, is there anything else you could see doing, even as a part-time gig, let's just say? I'm not saying you can't do music. I'm saying, is there anything else that you could see yourself doing along with it?
Not really, honestly. I just love music. That's primarily what I'm shooting for what I can do. Everything.
And it's familiar territory.
Songs, yes, sir. I like to write. So I guess, yeah, I'd like to be a writer too.
Yeah, writing
yes,
for
sir.
other people wouldn't be so bad, right? Certainly for, like I said, a fallback. Excellent.
Yes, sir.
So what about time away from the stage? We're off the stage 22 hours a day. What does Landon Wall do when he's off stage?
I spend time with my dog, my family. I used to do a little bit of Taekwondo. I'm a black belt, actually, but I sing everywhere I can when I'm off stage. I'm primarily just your average 12-year-old kid when I'm off stage.
Right, and that's why I wanted to find out. It's been a long time since I was 12 years old. And, wow, black belt in Taekwondo. When I was 11 or 12, I took a few Taekwondo lessons. I got my white belt, and I just didn't stick with it. I did go back to boxing later on, but I always regretted not going back and, following a martial art as well. Just for the discipline, I think, more than anything else. It's very spiritual. It grounds you, and, to go along with a Christian background and having something to kind of, just center you, it's got to be, it's a nice balance. And of course, being able to defend yourself, that's a perk as well.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So, at the top of the hour, we did play your hit song, which is quickly becoming, let's face it, these songs have been making the rounds. Small Town Love.
Yes, sir.
What inspired that?
Well, I live in a really small town, and it's practically my whole life story. We just threw in some romance to make it interesting.
I was wondering about that.
Yes, sir. But, my life story is walking around in Nashville trying to find places to play, just dragging my guitar case till the leather on the bottom falls off. That song is practically my whole life story.
Wow, that's. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess at 12, true. I mean, you've got to kind of, you know, I don't want to say cut and dry because you don't. I mean, you're not the average 12-year-old kid. At least when you're on stage, you know, you're larger than life there. And I can only imagine where you're going to be when you're 16, 17, 18. That's going to be formidable, to say the least, which is great. How about we play this other track while we have these people on the line? This song, which is based on your experience with Hunter Hayes.
Yes, sir. Big Show?
Big Show. Let's do it. Let's play it.
Let's do it.
All right. I'll tell you what. I'll even let you do the honors. You can go ahead and intro the song for everybody out there. Mike is yours.
Hey guys, what's up? Landon Wall here. This one's my song called Big Show.
This is the Ray Powers Hour. I am on the line with a legend in the making. Hey, you know what? We got to call it as it is, Landon. Landon Wall, calling from Trinity, North Carolina. We just heard Big Show. And, I mean, that's a fantastic song. And you wrote these songs.
Yes, sir, with my dad.
With your dad, okay. Now, here's the thing. Most people in Nashville, especially at your age and even into their 20s, you know, they pitched a lot of songs. And with so many songwriters, it's the songwriter capital of the world. I find it doubly impressive that you're able to record these songs that you wrote on your terms, and you're getting such a response. It's, I mean, that's not something to be taken lightly in what is the songwriter's capital of the world. That's pretty amazing.
Well, thank you. That really means a lot.
No, it means a lot to the people listening, and I can't wait to see where you go with this. Now, tell us, where can we get Landon Wall's music?
I have a song on iTunes, Small Town Love, actually. It's on there, and it's Amazon Music. It's practically anywhere you can find music. Yes, sir. I got 2 more coming out, actually, Lost Boy and Love Life in Baseball.
Okay,
and it was picked up by 2 publishers, actually, and it's in the NSAI Top 40.
Wow.
And the Nashville Songwriters Association.
That's pretty awesome. And Lost Boy, of course, was the song that we talked about with Kelsey.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait till that comes out. When it does come on back on the Ray Powers Hour, I'll be more than happy to spin it. I'll give it a fresh cut, you know, a nice early debut, and we'll come back and we'll do this again. If you're ever up in the New York area, you've got to come and visit. We'll do this in person.
Yes, sir.
And we can jam. Awesome. We can even do songs live in studio, which will just absolutely make my day.
Yes, sir. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Landon, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Keep us posted on your gigs. We'll blast them out here. And God bless you and the family. You just keep on keeping on.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ray.
I'll talk to you later.
All right.
The Ray Powers Hour.